You're welcome back. This is NewsFile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on NewsFile, as you know, we put Ghana first. And this year, today, is the first day I begin Samson Steak. And thank you all for continuing to call on me and asking whether I have stopped Samson Steak. I definitely have not stopped Samson Steak. I just took a little break, and now I'm kicking off. On my first steak, I say Agradaa, Attorney General, overturned the wrong use of the sledgehammer. The sledgehammer representing the court with the awesome powers of the state. The court, according to the Constitution, is administering justice on behalf of the people of Ghana. How many times must the victims of spiritual fraud in this country watch as their quest for justice is vaporized by judicial mercy? Mercy that borders on the inexplicable. On Thursday, the Amasaman High Court didn't just reduce a sentence, it dismantled the deterrence that the sentence was supposed to serve. Patricia Esiedua, aka Nana Agradaa, was handed a 15-year sentence by the circuit court. This was not the circuit court doing something and handing a sentence because they felt like it, but as the law commanded it to do. Of course, within a range. She wasn't convicted for a simple misunderstanding. She was convicted under Section 1311 of the Criminal Offences Act, 1960, Act 29, for defrauding by false pretenses. That is a second-degree felony. That law that stipulates sentences is what I'm holding in my hand here. It says that if you commit an offense that borders on first degree, you could get a sentence of life imprisonment or less. If you commit an offense which is a felony, a second-degree felony, you could get up to 10 years. But this has been enhanced to 25 years. Now, there are also the lesser offenses called misdemeanors, for which you may go to jail for not more than 3 years. These thresholds that have been set are supposed to be a guide, and for a good reason. She was also convicted under Section 137 for charlatanic advertisements. Look, it's not a joke that the charlatans we have around who are invoking God's name in vain, some are engaging in political campaign in the name of prophecies. And we know they are liars. Because when they said, God says this, and the Bible says God does not lie, and it doesn't come to pass, they told a lie in the name of God. Under our laws, a second-degree felony, as I have said, is no mosquito bite. It carries a potential penalty of up to 25 years. Yet Justice Solomon Oponchumesi saw fit to slash 15 years down to a mere 12 months, which 12 months means that she should be out of jail in the next 2 or 3 months. His reasoning: an analogy from former President Kufuor, not law, about not, quote, killing a mosquito with a sledgehammer, end quote. This is a travesty of the sledgehammer. But here is my take. Agradaa is no mosquito. As Professor Kweku Azar rightly pointed out, organized faith-based fraud that targets the desperate is a predatory shark, not a flying insect. To suggest that 15 years for a serial premeditated felony is excessive because only 4,000 Ghana cedis was involved in this specific charge is to ignore the social harm. When a judge reduces a felony sentence to what is essentially a time-served slap on the wrist, the law ceases to be a shield and becomes a suggestion. We saw this with Bishop Obinim. Bishop Obinim is walking free. He famously stepped on the stomach of a pregnant woman on national television. The nation was incensed. But what happened? He walked. That is the face of impunity. Elsewhere, he will not be walking free and continuing what he does. Encouraging impunity by reducing this sentence to 1 year, the court has sent a dangerous message to every money-doubling charlatan in Ghana. Those in the church who are selling canes, who are selling cocoa, who are selling, what's the name again? Drinks. They are now being told to go ahead, defraud the vulnerable, and at worst, they will spend a few months in a cell and pay 200 penalty units, 2,400 cedis. A pittance compared to the millions they rake in. This judgment is substantively unreasonable. An appellate court's job is to check for legal errors, not to substitute the law with personal metaphors about mosquitoes and sledges. Dear Attorney General's Department, you work for the state, and we are looking for a state that has a moral conscience, a conscience that deprecates the conduct of people like Agradaa, the conduct of people who look at our mothers, vulnerable ones, who are pregnant, and step on the pregnancy many times with all the force they can muster and still walk out of a court. The conduct of people invoking God, doing political campaigns and apologizing for it, and we think everything is fine. And they are getting defended by people you would think have a scruple of morals, including journalists. What is wrong with you? Dear Attorney General, this is not where you sit back and say, oh, I did my case, got here 15 years, and a court has reduced it to 1 year, so my job is done. No. We, the state, who have hired you to work, require you to take this case up to the Court of Appeal and get this sentence reversed. The judge, in any case, said that the conviction was correct, that the circuit court judge did no wrong. Why were the thresholds set for first-degree felony, second-degree felony, and, misdemeanor? Why was the threshold set for misdemeanor for somebody to be put into jail not more than 3 years? Misdemeanor. And the person was charged and convicted on 1 misdemeanor and 1 second-degree felony. If you are going by what the old provision is, they should not go to jail for more than 10 years. The threshold is not for nothing. If the state does not appeal this reduction, it signals an abdication of its duty to protect the public from such spiritual predators. We cannot build a society where the high profile and the repentant get a pass. I mean the repentant, unquote, get a pass, while the poor rot in jail for stealing a goat. AG, it is time to act, overturn this sledgehammer ruling, and restore the teeth to our criminal justice system. And that will be my take.